Welcome to the podcast. This is Connor versus Cobb. I'm Ryan Conner.
Yeah, baby. Hi, this is Nick Cobb.
Way to start. Hey, I got to start with something semi-political because we recently talked about conspiracy theories and we talked about Coke and New Coke and it being a legit. It's not a conspiracy, right? Coke stopped serving Coke, rolled out New Coke for a while, right? And then people are like, New Coke sucks. And they're like, okay, we're going to bring back the classic Coke. They brought it back, except instead of cane sugar, it was high fructose corn syrup, which, you know, nutritionally it's the same garbage, but there is a taste difference. That's why Mexican Coke is very popular where you can get it. Well, that's what has happened with the tariffs. We've got New Coked with the tariffs. Trump's like, we got New Coked with the tariffs. He's like, oh, I got you a deal. And it's like, wait a minute. It's much worse than it was before. Before it was so much better. It's just not as bad as what you did to us for a few months. He New Coked us.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't pay attention to any of it anymore, but you're talking about a great salesman. And people are just, what are you trying to do here? Are you trying to convince all of our MAGA listeners that they're actually getting swindled?
I'm just saying it's what happened. It's like, oh, now UK tariffs are down to 10% or whatever. And it's like, well, they were 3 before. China's, some are down to 30%. Well, before their highest tariffs were 25, and that was on steel and a few other isolated goods. But anyway.
I mean, I would say short memory, but that would be giving a whole lot of people the benefit of the doubt that they even knew what it was before, including myself. I didn't know what it was before. So if you're shouting out, if I'm reading 30%, I mean, I don't know what it's relative to. And I would ask if I were interested in such things, but I would ask you.
Well, let me tell you this, because yesterday I'm walking around and then I realized that Rachel put a pickle in my jacket pocket.
What the fuck?
Well, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about the background. But it just made me think of the phrase. It was wrapped up. It made me think of the phrase of people like, is that something in your pocket? Or are you happy to see me? And it's just, that's a weird one. It's like, is that a pickle in your pocket? Or do you just keep a penis in your jacket pocket? Like what? Why would you? Why
I was about to say that phrase depends on which pocket you're talking about. It's not like if you have pins in your breast pocket or something.
I mean, even your pants pockets are on the side of your leg. Like,
yeah, it's weird.
Is that a banana, or you keep a pencil strapped or a penis strapped to your hip?
Is your dick coming out your leg? Are you the person I read about?
Oh, is that a pickle in your jacket, or you got a stack of penises in there?
What do you mean by you didn't want to get into the background? Is there some kind of backstory?
Well, so we were supposed to take her or go with her niece and nephew to Disneyland a couple months ago, but I couldn't walk due to my foot. And
Thank God she got COVID. You dodged a bullet.
She was gonna go and along with her mom and niece and nephew and sister and stuff, brother-in-law. But anyway, Rachel had COVID. My foot was messed up. We had 2 days of tickets. They were expiring today, so we're like, all right, let's just go and do. We did edibles and. So we're there, and and they got pickles there, right? It's just how you avoid eating fried stuff all day. Two more thoughts about this experience. One, no matter what, a kid will shit his pants within 2 feet of you at least once an hour.
Yeah, no, that's right. I don't know that being sober helps it. I've been there sober with my kids. And how hot is it down there right now?
Oh, it's beautiful. A high of 73
Oh,
each day.
Shut up. When I was there, it was about 108. I was constantly checking it when we were in these 45-minute, hour-long lines. And yeah, very smelly. The foods don't help. I did eat pickles.
Yeah.
We were shocked that they were even an option.
Yeah, it's great. One other thought I had, because we did a water ride, and Rachel got a big splash on the front of her pants, is that there's a variation of this phrase that's considered like a very sexual phrase.
Right.
But if you say it in this particular way, it's the most non-sexual phrase in the world, which is, my crotch is so wet. If you say crotch,
No, I disagree. I think
Crotch might be the least sexual term in the English language.
it's certainly the least sexual term, going with that groin area. Although
Yeah.
groin's pretty unsexual too. But if you say my crotch is so wet, it's still pretty loaded.
Is it? No, it
Yeah.
sounds like you spilled soup.
The word wet doesn't help. I mean, it's
Yeah,
better
but
than my
there are
crotch. My groin is so moist, I guess. But
no, there are other liquids. My crotch is wet. Sounds like you spilled a beverage.
I guess, but no. No. I disagree because you would just say my pants, my skirt, my shorts. That's what you would say. That's the least sexual way to put it. But if you say my crotch, you're talking about a body part. You're not talking about clothes.
But it's like crotch is even below medical terms. Medical terms are sterile or incredibly sterile. Crotch is just like I can't even think. Like it's worse. It's like below saying my willy.
It's that sanitized. I get what you're saying, and you can use all the PowerPoint and data you want, all these metrics you probably have. But I'm doing the locker room test, the junior high locker room test. And if I heard that at any point in my life, it's still charged. It's still sexually charged.
No, I know. If someone said, something touched your crotch, that's not sexual. You would think that you accidentally brushed up against a door or something.
Yes, and yet it would be made sexual if only for just a moment because I'm basically 11 years old.
All right, Nick.
I'm just saying I think you're wrong.
Listener Lena Lauren, the listener asks, have you ever been given a wedgie? What's the story?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, I think she asked us both. You've never been given a wedgie? Your brother's older than you.
It would be from my brother. But
yeah.
I guess once or twice, but that wasn't his preferred form of torture.
Oh, he's a waterboarder?
Yeah, he liked to do that thing that I actually learned how to fend off in my jiu-jitsu class. My one jiu-jitsu class, I learned how to fend this off. So if he ever tries it again.
Hold on. You went into jiu-jitsu class and like, all right, specifically what I do if my brother tries to tickle my asshole?
It ended up being like that. It's as if had the instructor asked, what do you guys want to defend against? Are you afraid of somebody following you like in a 7-Eleven parking lot or, that? No, I would go with whenever I go home, my brother tries to tickle my butt. When I was younger.
Joking.
What?
I was joking. Is that really what it is?
Well, I'm sure this happened with you too. It happens with brothers. They get you, whichever the stronger one is, gets the other one on the floor, puts their knees on the person's arms so they can't move. And then they can just do whatever they want. They can slap you in the face. They can hit you in the forehead with a spoon. Or if they have a long arm, they can put their finger up your butt.
Shut up. Your brother, no.
We just talked. Don't act like you haven't.
We were just joking.
No, we talked about it last week. We were talking about how to get away from like a rhino if it wants to kill you. You try to put your finger in their butt.
That's not your brother fingering you. What are you talking about?
Actually, to be honest, it is the only way to get out of that situation, or as far as I knew before I took that jiu-jitsu class. The only way I knew how to do it was to somehow knee him in the taint. That was the only way I knew how to get out of it when I was younger. But I've learned skills now.
Your brother
that I practiced on a 110-year-old woman. Does he still do this?
You're 46.
Or 110-pound woman. What's that?
Does he still do this to you?
No, but 10 years ago, I went back home to visit my folks. And instead of saying hi, give me a hug, whatever, bro hug, he flicked me in the ear. I was sitting there in the living room, like catching up with my parents, and he kept flicking me in the fucking ear over and over and over again, to the point where I was like, we're going to have to fight in the backyard now. And I haven't seen you in 6 years. And that's just how it's going to have to be. And it just depends on what my brother's weight is at the time, whether or not I can take him.
The last time my brother tried to do something like that to me, he punched me in the ribs while my parents' house. They say grace, and they're doing grace before the meal. Everyone holds hands like it's we're doing the Our Father, and my brother punches me in the ribs just so that I'll go ooh while someone's saying grace, and then later we're in the basement and he does something, and I got him in a guillotine choke. And then he ended up having neck problems. I feel really bad about. I hope I had nothing to do with it, and it was a congenital issue.
Yeah, but he was asking for it.
I wouldn't. He wasn't asking for the guillotine choke. I don't think. I think he was thinking it would be tit for tat. I would punch him in the ribs.
No, it's
again.
never tit for tat. It's
It
never,
can't be.
not with relatives or friends. It never is. In junior year in high school, my friend
Yeah. Also,
Eric
if you're
Carl's.
yeah, sorry,
What's that?
sorry. I would say
No.
if your response isn't disproportionate, then there's no deterrent.
Thank you. This is what happens in prank wars too.
Mm-hmm.
Our neighbors, when I was like a junior or senior in college, our neighbors' house of apartment of girls came over and they did some like cutesy little prank on us. I forget even what it was. Probably involved shaving cream, just like, cute stuff. And they were like, we're going to do a prank war. And my roommate, Brian, his response was to get plastered and then go take a shit on their doormat.
That's so far beyond.
It went from a 1 to a 10. And apparently, when they got home that night, they didn't see it because they had been drinking, and they stepped in it and walked all through their house.
Oh, no.
And
that sounds very criminal. There's got to be some like vandalism using fecal matter.
He not only denied it to them, he denied it to us. He just, I think he denied it for probably 5 years.
Oh my God. Well, look, just because I'm sure it's still in our listeners' minds, Nick, I will call CPS for your brother fingering you.
I've learned the jiu-jitsu, man. I can get out of that move now.
You gotta just clench your asshole. The disproportionate prank thing I can think of. This was freshman year in college. The parking lot by the freshman dorms wasn't terribly. It wasn't that far away, but it wasn't as close as you'd want it. And we're circling around at night, especially on the weekends. It was really hard to find parking, and we finally found a spot that was decent. And this girl ran and stood in the spot and would not get out until her friend got there 10 minutes later. And we're like, can you please move? Like, we got here. And she's like, no.
She sounds pleasant.
Yeah. So anyway,
did you end up dating her?
We ended up having to park about 20-minute walk away. But, end of the day, we're in college. We're not in a hurry. I don't know why it mattered. Well, it mattered to 3 of the people in the car. There were 5 of us in one of the in the twin cam Saturn. Me and my friend Craig were like,
"It's always in a Saturn with you."
It's always in a Saturn. It's the same Saturn owners. Mike and Craig are the same Saturn owners.
You'll never ever have to tell anyone when you went to school ever in your life. You'll just say, "I drove a Saturn." And they'll be like, "Got it."
Saturn. So Craig and I don't care. We're just like, oh yeah, okay. They this will be on their conscience.
I'm sure.
The other 3 people were not happy. They went out, they got some Jif peanut butter, and they put Jif up under the handles so that when there's peanut butter, and then you got to clean it up. I'm like, all they did was take the spot. It doesn't matter. Well, the next year we're in a different. It's like different dorms, like suites.
Wait, do you know what happened with that?
No, I assume they put their hands and got peanut butter on them. Who cares? Then you eat the peanut butter. I don't know. It's a mess, but it's an unnecessary escalation. The next
year, a lot of work too, because you're going to get peanut butter on your fingers too.
Yeah. The next year,
it's like the Morex thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think they use napkins to smear it like that. But the next year, we live on the same hall. It's me and all my friends on this hall. There's probably 40 rooms on this floor. I'd say 15 of them are me, like, and my friends, and then these same girls who happen to like block the parking spot and pull into the spot. They happened to be on the hall too.
What?
Well, yeah, they just randomly. I at no point did I ever.
And you
share a
recognize
word
the
with them.
girl?
Yeah, because they lived in our building freshman year.
Oh, okay. So you knew him before. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it
yeah,
was
yeah,
stranger. Right. Sorry.
No. They lived in our building. So then they
Jeez.
sophomore year they're on our floor. Again, no one's ever talked to them. One night, there was a Mike and I are both asleep. It's probably 2 a.m. We hear this huge ruckus, and we look out on our door, and there's a big fight between the female factions of that wing of the building and of that wing of the building. It was dubbed Rod V, Rumble of a Dozen Vaginas. And anyway, it was the girls from the parking spot against the girls who my friends were friends with, and they did a full battle, which just felt like it was the culmination of this war that started with this parking spot. That's the whole
did
story.
Your guy friends get involved in this, or were people just
only
watching?
trying to break it up. But it was so intense. I remember my friend Adam was trying to hold someone. Adam's he was the middle linebacker, and he's a Green Beret, and he was having a hard time holding one person back because she was so furious.
Wow, over
she was
what?
on the large side of things.
Was it just going to happen?
I don't know. No one ever knew. Me and my friends were very docile people, and Mike and I looked out the door, and we're like, what the fuck is? It was a Friday night, and we had to leave for work at like 8 a.m. on Saturday mornings. And we worked together, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? We look down the hall. Our friends Al and Glenn are just like, what is going on? And then Al in his head is coining the term "rumble of a dozen vaginas." But anyway,
it's a good one. Yeah.
All because of I assume that they were that the women who are on our side in this proxy war were defending our honor over this parking spot from a year and a half prior.
I doubt that seriously.
I
do think that everyone that I know that you're close friends with seems to be docile. I'm docile. Fighting makes me very uncomfortable. Being around it makes me even arguing makes me
I hate arguing.
Very, very comfortable. I went to a house party once when I was at IU, and a dude, I just always assume that when people start, when a fight looks to be starting, then it's just people like just joking around. Because that's the only, except for my brother, that's the only time I've ever done anything like that.
Yeah.
A guy picked up another guy, like out of a movie, like by his neck, and pushed him in to the drywall, broke the drywall. And I still thought they were joking. I was like 2 feet away waiting to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, man, I thought they were. And then it wasn't until he actually like raised his voice at him and the guy relented that I'm like, okay, I guess he was really mad. Like I would never react that way. It makes me so uncomfortable.
It would never occur to me that it's like, I've never been friends with fighters. I
have been friends with them. I just don't know what to do in the situation. It's like a different language to me.
My friend Ankur, though, when you say docile, Ankur is a docile person, but I remember he had this one episode. He's one of my great friends from college. He's a cartoon character. Okay. I can't believe I've never brought him up before. When I met him, it was November 1st, day after Halloween. I met him about 4 p.m. He was still in full Smurf gear from the previous night, smoking a cigarette on the balcony. And he goes, "Can you guys help me? I need about $5,000 by Friday." And then commenced this like 4-day attempt. He had all these crazy electronics. And it was this, basically we were going to pawn shops trying to sell his like 5 mini disc stereo. He had a pen that could write in space. I got the fastest rewinding Walkman in the world. It'll do a whole tape in 12 seconds. It was just all this crazy stuff. He ends up not taking any. He's like, they're trying to fuck me. They're trying to fuck me left and right at all these pawn shops. He finally accepted an offer for his Nintendo 64, and it was like 40 games. And he did it for $200. It was crazy.
Really?
Like, I mean, you're talking, what would that be? about $2,000 in value for $200.
So he was in a pinch. He really,
yeah. Someone, his friend gave him $5,000. Then he was like, he told me not to ask questions, because we're like, why do you owe someone $5,000? He was like, he told me to not ask questions. It was like, why don't you give it back? Because the friend stole it from his own dad. And we're like, why don't you give it back? And he goes, because I used it to put that stereo in my car. And we're like, why don't you sell that? And he goes, ain't no fucking way I'm selling that stereo. So he had till Friday till the guy would tell his dad. And he was like, if he tells my dad's going to take my car, all this stuff. So he's like,
hilarious.
So we're like, what are you going to do with this $200? And he goes, just trust me. Next thing you know, we're in Costco or Sam's, whatever it was, and Ankur goes straight to the candy aisle because crispy M&Ms had just come out. He bought $200 worth of crispy M&Ms, and he had the idea that we would have a fake charity called Alpha Chi.
Okay.
And because this was when Armani Exchange just came out, and the shirts had the AX on it. And he thought that other people would see that we're not wearing these shirts and think, oh, all these other people must be an Alpha Chi too. Okay. We go to the Vienna Fairfax metro stop to sell crispy M&Ms. Okay. We have a flyer printed up for our charter chapter at George Mason, and we're trying to raise money. We sold 2 packs of M&Ms before the police were called for illegal vending. Everyone ran except for one guy who I guess just wasn't moving quickly enough. He got arrested.
Well, was Ankur still in the Smurf outfit?
No. This is like 2-3 days later. So, but this guy Rivers got arrested. He had nothing to do with this. He like, we met him. He was like, yeah, I'll come along. He got arrested, and he had to do like 40 hours of community service.
Oh,
he took the rap for it. So anyway, Ankur, I'm just saying this to paint how like cartoonish he is. One night, freshman year, so this is maybe a couple months after that, this guy, and Ankur's Indian guy, probably about 5, 6, 7, something like that. And pretty small guy. And this guy, Rob, was a collegiate cheerleader. He's like 6'7", enormous. Well, Ankur was very mad that Rob was apparently talking to his girlfriend. I don't think there was anything intended by Rob. I think Ankur was just drunk. He used to drink a lot and snort things and not cocaine, just I don't know what it was. I mean, he snorted something that made him jump out the window a couple times. And
okay.
Yeah, he just walked in. Mike and I are watching a movie, and he walks in and he goes, hey guys, and jumps out the second story window.
No shit.
Yeah. I mean, absolute cartoon character.
Like Omar?
Yeah.
From The Wire?
Basically. Just jumps out the window. We look down. He's not out there. We're looking for him for like 10 seconds. Then he's back behind us again, jumps out the window next to us again.
Wow. Okay.
Just insane. Just jumping the bushes. He'd come up covered in cuts, but he was having fun. So he thinks Rob's talking to his girlfriend. He gets absolutely furious, and we're trying to hold him back because it's kind of funny because Rob's triple his size, you know? And Ankur's going at him, and Rob's like, man, I don't know. We're sitting next to each other, and she's talking to what? Ankur grabs scissors and somehow reaches over and gets them to Rob's throat. And we're like, Ankur, what are you doing? And he turns around and he goes, everybody kills someone before they die.
Wait. Hold on. Wait, you've been doing that voice this whole story. And I thought before that you were just like, that was the Smurf voice. But that was his voice.
No. That's how he talks.
This whole time, every time you did the voice, I was like, so he's still in the Smurf outfit.
No. When he's sober, he kind of talks like this. Hey, Nick, what's up, man? What's up? And then when he's drunk or high or excited, it's what is up? It's this cartoon voice. It's just crazy.
He sounds like a blast.
It's part of his appeal. Oh, he's the most entertaining, fun person to hang out with. So anyway, he puts the scissors up to Rob's neck and says, everybody kill somebody before they die. And it went from this serious thing where we're trying to hold him back to everyone laughing so hard that Ankur even starts laughing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That
26 years later,
like a trip.
Everyone still thinks about everybody kill somebody before they die.
I think the hardest I ever left in the dorms was when somebody had killed a deer, and for some reason they had this garbage bag full of just the limbs. They just had the hooves. But yeah,
what do
in
you
a
mean?
dorm. They
You
had a
could kill
bag.
They gutted a deer in your, what do they call it?
No, I don't know
Dressed it?
where they killed the deer. I don't know, but they brought back a bag of the hooves, and they would put them. They pretend like the hooves were their hands. And at 19, this is just the funniest thing you've ever seen. Is this drunk asshole that lives on the first floor running up and down the dorms and scratching on people's doors with his deer hooves for hands. I don't know that I've ever laughed harder in my life than watching this happen. It's just so stupid.
This also feels like such a Midwest or Southern school thing that someone would.
Yeah, I went to Indiana. It was Midwest. Yeah,
with deer. Yeah.
There
wasn't any of that on my campus.
I'm sure you had a smarter campus than I did.
I'm not even saying smarter, just different. We had a guy on my hall freshman year. Keep in mind, this is 98. He only lasted one semester.
All you have to say is Saturn. That's all you have to say.
I don't think Eamon had a car, but he'd hooked up a webcam to his door, like eye hole, because he was like the dealer for the floor. That way, if someone's coming to buy, he didn't have to come look at the peephole. He could just look like from his computer at the webcam. High tech for 98.
Yeah, very, very much.
He was
so.
a computer science major, I remember. And Mason money was like the campus, where you put your money on your card to use it at places, right?
Sure.
Well, he stole the Mason money sign and put it on his own door, which is probably, draws attention to your business there. But then it was in the paper. It was like, there's a reward for it. For whoever stole the Mason money thing.
And he returned it and got a reward?
No. I think it was the beginning of his downfall. I think someone turned him in or something because he was expelled pretty soon after. I assumed that someone
there was a whistleblower in the dorm.
There was a whistleblower. I assumed someone found that. And then from that, they found that he was dealing drugs. But dude, I'll tell you about whistleblowers. The thing that was really funny. We were watching, I think it was WrestleMania 10. Not live. We would get WrestleMania tapes and just eat a bunch of pizza and hang out and watch old wrestling.
Oh yeah, I know.
Pay-per-views,
Yeah.
And my roommate was Jim Luoma. His identical twin is John Luoma, and Jim was super smart. And John's smart too, but he's more of a goofball, whereas Jim's the nerd. Okay, even though they're identical twins.
All right.
John comes over. John was not enrolled at the time. He was a year behind us because he was trying to join the Navy, but he failed the hearing test, so he had to start a year late. But he was still hanging out with us. I know.
Failed the hearing test?
Yeah, his hearing's really
was
bad.
He trying to do like radar or something?
No, I think it's just for the military. You have to be able to hear.
Well, no, I mean, I know here, but like,
but his hearing's
is
very,
like a
very
pin
bad.
Drop on a cotton ball from 100 yards?
His hearing's very bad. Like you got to really speak up. So anyway, we're watching a pay-per-view and someone spills a drink on the carpet. This is mine and Jim's room. And John goes, I got it. He goes to the bathroom. Are we thinking he's going to get paper towels? He rips the paper towel dispenser off the wall and brings it into our room. He thinks we're going to think this is hilarious. And he's like, look, now we got the dispenser here. And all of us are like, John, we live here. Now we don't have a paper towel dispenser in the bathroom. And he's like, oh, my bad. Well, we'll just put it on the counter in there. And we're like, all right, fine. We'll just put it on the counter. Well, the next day, all of us, like a group of 10 of us, concoct an idea. We're like, all right, John needs to learn his lesson. He can't vandalize our hall. So we faked a newspaper article. We faked a newspaper article that said that there was a $250 reward for whoever broke off the paper towel dispenser in Monroe Hall, second floor.
So wait. Did somebody write the article and put it in the paper, or put it in something that you convinced him was a paper?
No, we did. We just said it's in the paper today. He didn't go to the school, so we didn't have to show it. We just told him We just
Right.
we pretended we were reading from it over the phone. And we're like, dude, it's $250. And I can't remember if it was me or Mike, but we're like, look, we'll just be honest with you, man. It's really messes up our lives, not having this paper towel dispenser. So all of us who were watching the pay-per-view together, it was 12 of us. We're like, we've come to an agreement. Either we turn you in, or you buy all of us Hawaiian shirts.
So he 100% believed it.
Yes, he took us all to Macy's because he had a full-time job because he wasn't in school. He took us all to Macy's and we all got Hawaiian shirts, and then we did a photo shoot together.
Dude, that's nice. Man, that play. When did you tell him the truth?
Probably soon after. I don't know. It was either soon after or maybe a year or two later.
You got to wait until you can't return the shirts, obviously.
Yeah. I don't know where the shirt is either. This is a shirt I wish I had. I can't
this
find
is
it.
25 years ago, man. I don't. Do you own anything from back then? I only own my stapler.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I still got from back then. That's all I got. A Douglas.
Nick, you probably do a lot of stapling, right? Or no? Do you rarely staple?
I staple, I'd say, probably twice a month.
Well, most people don't have a stapler they're loyal to, like you, and they go out and buy a new stapler every time they need to staple something. Well, you don't need to do that with our sponsor, Stapler for a Day. It's a stapler rental firm. Anytime you need a staple, you just call them up. It's right. All by phone, by the way. It's all by phone. You call them up. They will send it to you, and they will give the return postage. And, with Stapler for a Day, you don't have to drop $14.99 on a classic swing line and another $6 on 3 million staples. With Stapler for a Day, you can rent, not a swing line, but a Douglas Pure, the Rolls Royce of staplers. If you think you've stapled before, you have not, and you should shut up about it unless you've used a Douglas Pure. Call Stapler for a Day at 571-236-EGGS and use the promo code ConnerVerseCobb.
Man, that's a good deal.
It's not bad.
It would have been great in the 60s when they used staplers.
It's just too bad you got to call.
That is a bummer. Call, yeah. Although, frankly, I'm pretty convinced that my smartphone is just ruining my life. That it's my real partner in life. Like it's the first thing I look at when I wake up, and the last thing I look at before I go to sleep. That's not healthy.
What's it doing?
I don't know. It's just I'm just addicted. It's just always there, and like I'm always grabbing it, and like, oh, let me go back in the other room and grab my phone again and look and click the button and look at it and do another 2-step verification. I did, I think, 5 password resets yesterday, which is my least favorite thing to do in the world, and I did probably 5 of them, and one of them was for I think it was a Jamba Juice app. I don't see how this is making our lives better, more convenient, that like people are holding up the line at Boston Market so that they can log into their app. So they can get potatoes. It's very annoying to me.
Yeah, I don't. So many people
the kind of
have
shit
these
that I talk to my therapist about. What's that?
Well, I'm trying to get to the bottom of this password thing. So Rachel has these issues with passwords. My mom does too. And I can't tell if it's people who are bad with technology or if there actually is some weird setting. But I never have issues with my passwords. They all come up.
Like I looked at a thing the other day that told me like how many like sites and apps overall do I have a password in. It's 200. I have 200 that I'm sure it's just a variation of one letter or one number or, a parentheses or something. And I'm always having to update them. And it drives me fucking nuts.
Why?
I just don't know what we're doing with our lives that this is progress.
I let Apple just select my password. So it's like some random string and it saves them for each site.
That's all you do.
That's all I do.
That's all you do ever. Okay. Well, I'm going to start doing that because I can't handle. So, but you still have to reset them, or do you it just memorizes?
I mean, only when they expire after however long, but certain ones, you have to reset every year or so, but that's it. Yeah.
I think it's because you're an unmarried man and you don't have to share too many passwords. I have to
We
share
share
passwords.
plenty of accounts.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Don't use your ring in this.
I am going to use my ring in it. Hey, man, I always sharing passwords. It's just I just can't get over that this is what we've chosen for our lives to be. How much time we spend doing two-step verifications.
We share like accounts for different subscriptions and stuff, but we don't share I don't reuse passwords. I don't like, they're all random strings. I don't have any passwords that are like, oh, this is my go-to, because that's how you get hacked. Watch one episode of Mr. Robot or read one book about hacking, and you will not have a password that has any like significance to you, because it is extremely hackable. My friend, I won't use his name, but when he's worked at the top of a bunch of the major tech companies and a government agency. And I remember when he was running security for this firm out here in LA, and he hacked the entire organization's passwords. And I think he said 40 seconds.
Really?
He had every single person's passwords because he wanted to demonstrate how weak their security was. He just wrote a script, hit enter, and it took whatever the number of time it was. It was under 1 minute. He had everyone's passwords.
Man, I wonder if they were taking bets on it. You think?
Well, they didn't know he was going to do it. He was worried that they were going to piss him off because it's kind of like, it looks like a malicious attack.
Not if they hired him to do it. If they hired him to do it, like, that's exactly what do you want? Of course.
Right.
It's like that movie Sneakers with Robert Redford, where it's like, that's the whole point of the job, is to break in and show you how lame your security is.
I thought Sneakers was that Jordan movie that Matt Damon was in. What was that called? Air. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
They could have called it Sneakers.
I get upset about this stuff because it's just so time consuming. It takes you out of, like, our culture seems to tell us all the time, you got to be in the moment, and yet is constantly taking you out of the moment by your phone notifying you of fucking everything. So
people
what do you
walking
want?
through the grocery store staring at their goddamn phone, which is fine if it's a shopping list, but
it's never a shopping list, dude. It's very rarely. It's like, how many people are like at the front of the left-hand turn lane that just don't go? And in LA, you get honked. Here, you do not honk. Like, there's no honking going. They just freaking sit there, and they don't. And as a sidebar, it has nothing to do with phone. People here do not move out into the middle of the intersection if they're in the left.
Interesting.
They don't do it.
You should not. If you're at a stoplight, do not look at your phone unless you're looking at the score of a game. Okay.
And then it's totally fine.
No, you can just ask. You can ask Siri. If I'm driving, I want to know the score of a game, for example. You just say, what's the score in this game? How many points is this person have?
Sure. No. I just miss the old days, like when people would have a Saturn and you'd be at a party and there'd be a game going on, and a random dude would just like open up the door and be like, Bulls are up by 3, 2 minutes left. Just like announce the score to an entire crowd of people. That was more fun, more galvanizing.
Well, I'm not a Luddite like you. I love technology. I had the Apple Vision Pro for up to 1 hour before the return deadline. It just cost too much. It's like $5,000.
Okay.
Best invention, like, since probably cars. I mean, amazing. The way I likened it to like from computers to the Vision Pro, it's like if we went from a horse and buggy to spaceships. It's that level from computers to Vision Pro. When if they can figure out how to make it affordable,
incredible. They will at some point. I'm not saying that I hate technology. I'm saying that there are things about it that it's like, this is not this makes me want to go back to everything being like cash or even gold. I would rather have to like pay for everything in gold. He doesn't want
levers. He doesn't want pulleys.
I just don't want to have to like wait for 10 people to log into an app so they can get mashed potatoes. Why can't, like, for things like that, can it not just be cash? Does the taco stand have to?
Cash takes so much longer. Does that have to have
an app too? What's that?
Cash takes so much longer than just using Apple Pay or a card.
fine, but I'm not saying that. I'm talking about an app where people have to log in.
When people are like, I need my Chipotle points, that kind of thing.
Precisely.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well,
Thanks for
I think
giving
we
me
got to
that
look
much.
at our phones less. I don't look at my phone as much as a lot of people, but I'd still like to look at it much less. I use it more to read news, but anytime I'm in a situation where I'm just not looking at my phone, I just feel a lot better, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to have a job where I'm never on it.
Mhm.
We've talked about this before, about that water bottle, that kind of a like flavored water, a sports drink. I don't know that I've ever heard of it since. Did a random promotion about 5 years ago that offered 250 grand to anyone who would go a whole year without the smartphone. They could still use like an old school phone if you wanted, but just go a whole year without your smartphone, and then you get 250 grand by this company that I do not remember. And I'm like,
incredible.
I'm like, please, please. I'd love to do it.
Love that.
I'd love to not have this that's actively making me unhappy all the time. I'd love it.
I would love it.
Then I wouldn't have to go to my therapist, who I think I told you a couple weeks ago, straight up told me that I was bumming him out.
Yeah.
And asked if I actually do like talk about these things with other people, because no one likes complaining.
Yeah.
In part, I think part of it is that he's younger than me, and I don't know if you've ever had a therapist, much less a therapist that's younger than you. It's like,
I don't think I could do it.
It's very strange. I mean, I don't mind having a boss that's younger than me, but because they may have more experience in that job than me. But a therapist is like, how much life experience do you have? And if the person's younger than me, it's like, when I try to get into something, the number of times that he has changed the subject back to sports when we're getting into something deep is insane. Where I'm like, my anxiety is insane, my OCD is crippling me, and he's like, man, what do you think about the playoffs? Or like it's astounding.
It reminds me of something John Elway said. By the way, do you have any action on the Broncos this weekend? Yeah. Have you ever been on a vacation where you just don't use your phone?
There'll be like stretches during a vacation when I won't use it. Yeah. Put it in a drawer or something.
I don't really check email on the weekends, and I'm unreliable on text and anything on weekends. That's the closest I am now. Sometimes on vacations, I don't really do much. I don't know if that's a function of being on vacation or being in different time zones, though. But it's great. I mean, look, before bed, I know a lot of people just scroll through their phone, right, for hours. Right?
It's the worst thing you can do. Sure.
Worst thing you can do. I recommend this. My book by my bed. I have like a clip light on it, and read from an actual paper book every night before bed. There's no digital screen in my face.
Yeah.
There's no idea of like infinite distraction and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not an iPad.
Great.
It's not even a Kindle.
Yeah,
it's
highly
a book
recommend
with a
it.
light. I mean, you're basically a pilgrim at that point.
Yeah, I almost got. I mean, several times I've almost bought a Kindle, what's it called, the Paperwhite Kindle. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't know. I like reading a physical book.
Sure.
And what do I do with? So if I buy this, then every time I buy a book, I have to buy it from Amazon. And
Correct.
then if I don't have a Kindle, I just have to use the Kindle app on another thing, like on my computer or my phone to read. It's like worthless.
I prefer getting a paperback, and like somebody will have it in their yard. Like, here's a free book, or like libraries will even have, libraries have books, but they also have books you can just keep. I prefer a paperback that's cheap, and like, I think I got the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy a couple weeks ago, and it's just sitting there. Like, you can't allow an electronic to just sit there outside, to just sit there. Like, you have to be in some way worried about it, know where it is. It can't be rained on. Yeah. The dog can't bite, whatever. But a paperback, you don't have to worry about this. If it's like, it's completely, it's great that it's so dispensable.
Yeah. Also, the reminder that, like, when you have the physical book, you see it and you're like, oh, I'm going to read that now. You see the Kindle, it doesn't do anything for you.
No. It's just, I better go on there and go through a whole bunch of shit of passwords and stuff. Dude, my new beef though is I don't know the last time you got an oil change, but I got
Let's just say my oil has been changed.
I got a sheet of coupons from Valvoline, which is my least favorite place to get an oil change. They gave me a coupon that like fits on your key ring, which I can't imagine a human ever be like, I'm going to put this 20% off oil change coupon on your key ring. Like, it seems like you're talking about the least sexy thing in the world. That is what it is. It's like, oh, what do you drive? An Aston Martin. What's that? 20% off Valvoline card.
Oh, my crotch is getting wet.
Together.
My crotch is getting wet, Nick.
But what gets me is that now, it used to be you go get the oil change, you go into the lobby, you watch some Judge Judy, you'd have some bad coffee and whatever. Now, the whole selling point, they try to push it as a selling point, is that you can stay in your car. You can stay in your car while we do the oil change. But all that happens is you stay in the car while they just take everything out of your car and put it on the ground and tell you how you have to replace everything.
That's awful.
They just bring a computer monitor up to your screen and they're like, now you got the 20% off in the oil change, but you need this filter and this filter and this. If I had gotten everything, I would have spent $1,800 in 15 minutes.
Are you on a lift and you're up in the air and they're screaming up to you, or is this where you drive over the sort of bay that is underground?
Yeah.
The hole is underground.
They literally like stay in your car and then they go down a ladder and they immediately start working. But at the same time, they pop your hood and just put all your shit out. Just take it out. You're fucking trapped is what you are. It's like when you didn't like someone and then they sat on your lap and you're like, I'm trapped here. I don't know.
It's an unwanted massage.
Yeah. I don't even know what to talk to you about. It's just 100 pounds on my knees. That's what it is. But what kills me is when I'm passing on everything. Like here's a salesman right there showing you on the monitor. See, this is green, but this one's red. Yeah. This one's red. You know, the cabin filter, the ventilation, whatever, is when they say you should really get new wiper blades. That just fucking, I'm surprised my head doesn't pop off my shoulders. Because it's like this, I came here for an oil change and you're talking to me about my windshield wipers as if I went to a dermatologist and he's like, you should really get a vasectomy. Like, can you just stay in your lane? No pun intended.
That's how I feel about pumping gas. And it's like, you want a car wash? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? That's like you're going to a restaurant and they're like, do you need any aspirin? Like, what do you, that's not why I'm here. Yes, they both go in my body, but this couldn't be less relevant.
Yeah. The car wash has been around for so long that I don't even question it, but you make a strong point.
It's absurd.
You're going to a specialist and they're telling you that you need, these wiper blades are crap. I'm like, fuck you. What? You just sold those to me 3 months ago when I got my last oil change. And now you're telling me I've got to get new ones. And the last thing that Valvoline doesn't do is if you get your oil change anywhere else, they'll put a sticker on your side of the windshield that says the number of miles that you're at. And so what do? Depending on the car, you'll probably add 3,000 miles to that. And that's when you go back. But they don't do that, do they? They make it hard for you and they put the day that you got your oil change. Yeah. Well, how does that help you at all?
I don't know, man.
How does that help? Here's the day. Thanks. Thank you for that. That's great. I just don't know what to. You're giving me coupons on my key ring, and you're telling me how many, like the day it is on a sticker. Can I have a sticker? Here's the date. It's just unbelievable. It's so completely useless.
It's to make sure you get your oil changed in time.
Yes, but you don't give the day. You give the miles. How does the day help?
No.
If you went today and they were like, hey, it's May 15th, I'm going to put it on the sticker. How does that help you?
I'll tell you, okay? Because you want to replace it based on either the miles or the amount of time elapsed, whichever comes first. Different cars have different rules. That's the thing. I don't know if Valvoline's going with your manufacturer rules. Like some say 5,000, some say 10,000 now. Some old cars will say 3,000.
But you just
my
mentioned
my
miles,
brother
miles,
says,
miles. It's miles. That's what you're going off
or
of.
or 3 months or 6 months or a year. It just depends on the manufacturer.
Then
You
write
do
both.
need to know whichever is both. Because I end up changing mine based on time more than miles, because I don't hit the mileage threshold sooner than the time. Rarely. I don't think I ever have, actually.
Okay, fine, Ryan. Is it too much to ask to put both of them down on the sticker?
Oh, they don't
Because
put both?
that's my point. They only put the date on there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay. I thought they had both.
Most people do miles.
Yeah,
Most people, conventional wisdom,
yeah.
certainly until about 5 years ago, was 3,000 miles. Now sometimes it's
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, you
But
normally do both. My brother says, if once your car hits 100,000 miles, do every 3,000 and use synthetic.
sure, fine.
Just as a good
3,000
rule.
miles. They're not. Your brother didn't say once your car hits 100,000 miles, do it every 6 weeks and make sure
Right.
to write down the date.
Yeah, that is weird. I thought you were saying they gave both. So if it's a car you don't drive much, then you do. Okay.
Most
All
cars now will automatically tell you, like, it's been, you reset the thing when you get an oil change, and then it goes off after 3,000 miles. It doesn't go off at the beginning of the next season.
Yeah.
Like, it's fall, go get an oil change.
Can I tell you? Can I tell you something? This just made me think of this because my dad talks about cars constantly. There was that earthquake last week. Where was it? It was somewhere in the South.
I don't know.
But let's just say it was in I don't know. Let's just pick a place. Let's just pretend it's in California. It was in Fresno or something. The way my dad told me about the earthquake, he goes, "You see, there's an earthquake that hit Fresno." And I said, "Oh yeah, I did see that. I didn't really read much about it though." And he goes, "Yeah, it caused $2 million in improvements."
That's his way to knock them.
It's so funny, man. It's so funny.
It's like it's
earthquake improving the town. It's so funny.
You want to hear some conspiracy theories?
Let's hear it, man.
So if this is only the third time we're doing this, I think. So this is for you to pick out which one is the conspiracy theory that is not true. And I don't, you know what I mean? Like it's
you're gonna list 3 of them.
Yeah,
one of them is going to be something you made up. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's the first one. We'll call it the championship cycle theory. It's where in any kind of league, sports league, the same teams are rotated through championship victories to maintain a balance of popularity and viewership across different regions. They rotate several teams rotate championships to maintain the balance of popularity and viewership across different regions. It ensures that no single team dominates for too long, and it keeps the global audience engaged.
Can I respond as we go?
Fine.
1, I could see this as a real conspiracy theory, but 2, there's just no basis for it in practice,
Okay. So that's your initial opinion.
If you just look at, then why do the Lakers constantly win?
Well, okay. Can you hold for a second? Hear the others?
Yeah.
So the second one, we'll call it the tornado tax. So we'll call it an alliance of insurance companies. Basically, we'll call it big insurance and government agencies. They engineer tornadoes to inflate premiums and generate revenue, not unlike what you just said, through disaster relief funds. They manipulate weather patterns. They create a cycle of destruction and, more importantly, reconstruction, where they benefit financially. So that's the tornado tax conspiracy.
There are a lot of dumb people out there, and they have a lot of conspiracies about weather, which would make me think this is a real one, but you did have a very suspicious in your description.
Okay, fair enough. So this last one, we're going to call it the crypto-terrestrial hypothesis. And in this theory is basically just saying that UFOs and aliens are not extraterrestrial. They're not out in space. They're not. They're actually basically an indigenous humanoid species that we coexist with unknowingly. They live in like basically the underground cities, remote areas, and we see them so rarely that we think that they're aliens. So which one do you think, however you want to do
see
it?
them, we think they're Keith Richards, huh? Folks.
So
okay.
Which one do you think I made up versus
well, the last one I think people do. I think people think that because I've heard people say that they think that there are aliens that live among us and we just don't realize it, right? Or most people don't realize it or something like that. I think, man, the tornado one is like, yeah, people definitely make up stuff like that. The rotating championships, it's like, in what way does it rotate? When are the Bears, Lions, and Vikings going to win something? Well, like, what about...
To be fair, I did say a few teams. I did not say every team.
Yeah, but I just mean that region. You know what I mean? You're talking about, keeping a region happy. Good Lord.
I mean, the Packers, I guess, are the most recent winners.
Yeah, what, 12 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah. No, I mean, football's different.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that there's, like, league interest in... I think league interest is in parity, not in we got to make sure the Lakers or Celtics win every other year.
Well, you can't compare football and basketball. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Football, any two teams can play in the Super Bowl, and it's a bonanza. Basketball, I've said this many times. Yeah. I want basketball to be a place where the Pelicans can play the Hornets in the finals, and it be a big deal. But
And it's no secret that thumbs are on the scale, right? Commissioners have talked about that. They'd prefer, like as David Stern said, we prefer the NBA Finals be Lakers versus Lakers every year, right? But ultimately, they just want 7-game series, right? They want 7-game series with the big markets. I mean, that's why if you look at the games this past week, the teams that were down 3-1 got 20 more free throws than the teams that were ahead. In all their games, like 15 to 20.
Certainly don't want game. I think they'd settle for
getting more games.
6-game series is all right. 5-game series is like, come on.
5-game series are losing millions of dollars. Yeah.
Yep.
I got to go with the tornado one being one that you made up, just because of that suspicious.
So these are intentionally particularly tricky because I actually could believe that all of these are legitimate conspiracy theories, and that's kind of why I included them. But and to be honest, I can't even say that the championship cycle one isn't. That it isn't one. I can't say it, but it's not one that I could find. That's the one you made up? Pardon me?
Okay. That's the one you made up?
No, it's not the one that I made up.
Oh, which one did you make up?
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Wait, hold on.
What?
No, I'm sorry. The real one. I'm sorry. The real one you think is...
Wait a minute. Did you do this reverse?
I may have done this reverse.
Okay, so only one is a real one.
Only one of them is real. My bad. So pick the real one. Sorry. We've only done this 3 times.
Aliens lived in the earth.
Yeah, you're right.
Aliens... Okay.
That is the real conspiracy theory that there are people.
I was like, it's either the tornado one or the sports one is the fake one.
But when you get it,
or the real one.
It's pretty interesting because it's fake. To me the least plausible because they're saying they live in these underground cities, which just seems like, come on,
as if we don't have sonar.
And they still remain by and large undetected by society. The advocates for this theory point to ancient text and folklore that describe encounters with being possessing advanced knowledge or technology. To me, that doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't see how that makes them, indigenous humanoids.
Yeah, it just doesn't. None of it makes sense. It's like people using, it's like astrology instead of astronomy, or alchemy instead of chemistry.
Sure. I mean, it's like this. People will say, like a UFO sighting. I mean, half of the planet doesn't even probably believe that's a UFO, right? So, but of the people who think that it's a UFO or something foreign, a portion of them are like, no, they're not aliens. They're just other like beings that live here. It's like, so you're contrarian.
Yeah.
With
it's
the
a
contrarians.
subsection of a subsection of a subsection.
Yeah.
I believe in intelligent life being out there. I mean, you know, we're talking billions of years of matter, and humans are, you know, about 1 million years old. And out of billions of years, billions of planets, billions of solar systems, I think there's intelligent life out there. I doubt it looks like us. And I also think, given how far things are away, like something that's 1,000 light years away is never going to come to Earth.
And yet we're just absolutely obsessed with it. They're
Yeah,
going to come
like,
and take our shit.
Yeah, these things, sometimes they'll even say something like, oh, it's only 40 light years. It's like, yeah, 40 light years?
It's right down the block. It's in Milwaukee.
We're talking trillions of miles.
Right.
Like 500 generations of beings would die before they could make it here. And then they'd have to want to come here. Why would they want to come here?
And then they get here and they land in Cleveland or in Van Nuys.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, man, this is why we came here.
Oh man, do you have a hypothetical this week?
Yeah,
yeah. Let's hear it.
I'll tell you one, and if you don't like it, we'll go with another one.
Sure.
You get a sitcom about your life, but they say you can have it, but you can't play yourself, and you've got 3 options of who can play you. They're all immediate yeses if you say yes. The first is, and by the way, it's like your childhood, right? You know, your crazy childhood, all of your brothers and adopted brothers, your big family, right? But here are the options. Patrick Ewing.
Playing me?
Yeah, playing you. Tommy Chong or Roseanne. Which one of those?
Tommy Chong at what age?
Now. But he plays you then.
Me as like at what age?
He just plays you. He just plays you. Patrick Ewing plays you.
Hey man. Hey mom. Patrick Ewing. The idea of Patrick Ewing acting, Patrick Ewing playing me is so funny. One, I think he's one of the most fundamentally sound big men ever.
Right, but how does that come into play with him playing you?
I don't think it makes him a good actor. Roseanne is so funny because her character on that show, last name was Conner, you know, and you know, it's the same as my name.
So a natural transition, right?
You know, and I have a great photo of me and Roseanne hanging out, and this is before all the nutty stuff came out, and I just can't share the photo, because. And by the way, during this conversation with her, it was like so fun and funny. And then she snuck in some political nuttiness. And then I changed the subject really quickly.
Like my therapist.
And then like within 2 within 2 years, she was like, I think Obama is, you know.
Right.
Or was it Michelle Obama? I can't remember. But anyway, her nuttiness came out a couple of years later. So I would not want her to play me for 2 reasons.
But she is the obvious choice.
She would do the best job as an actor, yes. But you're talking about Roseanne, she's like 70.
Right. I mean, they're all old. That's not even like, that's not whatever.
I think I'd go Tommy Chong.
Yeah, you got to go Tommy Chong.
I think I got to go Tommy Chong.
Yeah. You don't want to touch that kind of controversy.
What a question.
And you
Patrick
don't want
Ewing would be number
disrespect
2.
Patrick Ewing like that.
Patrick Ewing would be number. I mean, look, he was a Knicks player, and I'm a diehard Bulls fan. So he was mortal enemy number 2 during my childhood behind Reggie Miller. Except I never disliked Patrick Ewing as a
you
human.
Can't dislike him.
He always seemed like a great guy. He never played dirty, and he shook hands after the game. He seemed like a great guy.
Unlike the Pistons, is that what you're getting to?
Pistons or Pacers.
Right, yeah. I mean, they kind of took after that a little bit. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, Patrick Ewing, he also lost to Villanova. Aren't you a huge Villanova fan?
No, my family are, just because my uncle played there.
All right. Well, still, you could
My
have given me
family are.
that one. I
It's funny.
nailed that, and you didn't even give it to me. Okay.
It's funny. I'm back home and everyone's wearing Villanova stuff, and then they announced the new pope who went to Villanova. It was a time.
It sounds like a
All they
really
want to talk
boring
about
party.
is Jay Wright and the Pope.
We got to do a rank them, man. This has been a long.
Oh yeah, Rank Them is a game where I list 3 attributes for a person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. This person is perfect for you in every way, except for these defining characteristics. You must rank them. Number 1, plays a musical out loud on your home stereo every day. Plays all the songs from a musical.
That's just about my life right now, but okay.
Okay. Number 2, the only place she will vacation is Branson, Missouri.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, they do have like a lot of matinee theater stuff there.
Dude, I donated blood earlier, and the nurse was telling me about how she's 26, already has 2 kids, and she's like, I didn't used to like to travel, and now I really like to travel with my kids. Oh, where do you go? Well, we go to, we went to Indiana, we went to Michigan, may even take them to Wisconsin. That's travel. So that Branson, Missouri, that's not a stretch at all. That people are like, oh, we're going to go,
rest
6
of your
hours
life,
away.
the only place you can go with your significant other is Branson.
Yeah, that's tough. Yep.
Number 3, tries to convince everyone she meets that what we think of as the theory of evolution is false because we actually evolved from bees.
From bees?
From bees. And she really tries to convince everyone.
Is she fiery about it?
Bees. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, then it's a simple one. I mean, I would go.
Is it?
Wait, okay. Is it if the conversation comes up about evolution, or is it just any person she talks to?
No, she just tries to, like, well, I mean, I guess I got a little bee in me. You want cream and sugar? Can you make it honey?
It's not even the bees. Absurdity of the belief. It's bringing it up to everyone.
We come from bees, right?
No, it's an easy 1, 2, 3 here. Is it? Yeah, I would. Number 1, playing the musical is easily the best one, I guess, to live with.
Okay.
Branson, I was completely going to put it at 3 until you told me what 3 was. So Branson is 2, and the bees again. I don't care that that's what she believes. I don't even care that that's what she argues. If evolution is brought up, but if it's not brought up and you're still arguing it, then I'm sorry. That's just
then you're crazy.
Yeah. Then you're also not. You can't be a perfect partner. It's just possible. So
that
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. That said, it impedes upon my life less than the other 2. Therefore, bee evolution is number 1 for me. Doesn't affect me. People will think that she's crazy or stupid. It's fine. It doesn't affect me. All right.
You think it's so crazy that people are just dismiss it right away?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Branson number 2 or 3 for you? I can't remember.
2. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Branson's going to be last for me, and the musical is in the middle. I can't stand musicals. There's like maybe, 0. I don't like them. I don't like any. Well, I mean, I like Book of Mormon, but I still don't want to just listen to the soundtrack. Branson's got to be the worst. I just, no offense if you're in Branson, but you got to go other places too. This is a big problem we have in the U.S. Why people have this sort of, just narrow view of the world and of themselves. Is in our country is so large. Not few people, but a lot of people have never been, even out of their region of the U.S.
Of course,
just go to other countries, Central America, Europe, South America, Africa, Asia. Just go to other countries, and your worldview will change drastically.
But you could go to even other parts of this country and the worldview would change.
Yes.
But what you're saying is it's like someone who is from where I'm living now, like the nurse, may only go to Indiana, Wisconsin and believe that that's traveling. That's traveling.
Yeah.
And yet if you're in Europe, it's probably not that crazy to be like, yeah, I've never really left Belarus,
Yeah,
for some
yeah,
reason, because that is the whole country. Even though
yeah.
Belarus is what? How big is that anyway? It's a hell of a lot
Uh,
smaller than Texas, I would have bet.
but yeah, everybody get out there, travel around. Your whole worldview will change. Travel broadens the mind, as they say.
I got to go pick up my kid in 1 minute. Talk about
Yeah, I got to
broadening the
try to
mind.
sell some concert tickets so I don't have to drive down to Tijuana. Concerts in Chula Vista. It's right across the border from Tijuana.
Wow.
And hey, guys, thank you so much for listening. You can check my schedule on my website, ryanconnercomedy.com. I'm going to be all over Ontario next week, which is like May 21st through 24th or something like that. Then I'm going to be in Phoenix. I'm going to be in Minneapolis, Vancouver, missing some others, Chicago with Nick Cobb, Mahomet, Illinois with Nick Cobb, Philadelphia, DC. I'm leaving out a city, but Edmonton. There we go.
Super quick. CG's in Bolingbrook next weekend, not this weekend. And that's all I'm going to say for now.
Okay. And also check out my book, The Party, on Amazon. It's a novel. It's a comedy, and I think you'll like it if you like.
Yeah, it's very.
If you like this podcast, it's just a transcription of episode 4 of the podcast. All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Just a couple of guys palling around, coming out of your speakers, a beautiful sound. They debate, berate, and have a laugh or two. Conner v. Cobb, for me and for you. La 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 la, la 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 la. Conner v. Cobb, for me and you.
Ryan and Nick. Nick and Ryan. The scoundrels of the hour.